In today's news, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force confirms the death of Matthew Daly and a look at education amidst COVID-19 in the BVI.
And great news, 20 recoveries in the BVI, one case detected. All this and more when 284 News returns.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Good evening, viewers. Today is Friday, September 11th, 2020. Coming out of the British Virgin Islands, of course, I am Kyla Kenesha Forbes.
And I'm Ron Grant. Welcome to another edition of our live broadcast from 284 Media out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands.
Most definitely. Now, Ron, many things are happening in our territory and around the world. But really and truly, I'd love to start off this newscast with a bit of good news.
Yes.
Last night, Minister of Health basically reported that 20 recoveries coming out of the BVI. And I think that is amazing news, Ron. I think sometimes we need to learn to celebrate the small wins.
I agree. Sometimes we often look at the negative, and when I say negative, I mean how many positive cases there are. But we fail to realize sometimes that there are a lot of negative cases, and the fact that within this day and age where we could report just one additional, as of it's a very unfortunate fact that it is a child,
right.
And it is one additional case, we still have a lot of negatives. So that's something to a little bit just be pleased for.
And should be thankful for, and we're going to definitely jump into that and give the details of that as soon as we start the newscast. But also, too, earlier this morning, Honorable Shereen Flax-Charles addressed the people of the Virgin Islands, and we have a lot of that information in this newscast. But also, before we jump right into it, I think, Ron, we really have to remember September 11th, 2001, and really and truly 19 years ago, that was when the terrorist attack on the American cities, that was in New York, Washington, and Pennsylvania. Over 2,000 persons were killed and many were injured. I think we're all going to remember that day for a very long time. So we definitely want to keep those persons, the victims, but also their families in our prayers.
Kyla, one of the things that's quite unfortunate as well as remarkable about the September 11th events, and it's surprising, it's very surprising to see that so much time has passed by, but not only did a lot of victims lose their lives on the day of September 11th, but we look at a lot of essential workers, police officers, fire officers who served and protected their country, and subsequently after that died of, as a result of injuries and complications. So it's definitely something that has really cemented its place in our trajectory of history, and we want to pay homage and honor to those persons who lost their lives, not only on the day, but afterwards as well.
Even after that, most definitely. Well, Ron, one more thing before we jump into this newscast. We have a message from Honorable Vincent Wheatley. Viewers, take a look at this.
All about tourism. Without a doubt, we have some of the most beautiful attractions anywhere in the world. We all want to see our hotels, villas, restaurants, and all other businesses bustling with people once more. However, our visitors will need to know that they're coming to a safe destination. This will require each of us to play our role if this is to become a reality. As a country and as communities, we must at all times demonstrate our adherence to our safety protocols. We must at all times observe social distancing, 6 feet or more apart. Always wear a face mask when in contact with others. Wash hands frequently or sanitize frequently, and always carry a bottle of hand sanitizer with you. We must all model the behavior we need. So get on board, or our very lives depend on it.
So Ron, we see there Honorable Vincent Wheatley basically telling the people of the Virgin Islands that yes, we want to open our borders and we want to invite tourists back in because we have a beautiful destination, but we must do all that we can to make sure that ensure that they are coming to a safe destination. So we need to do all that we can through social distancing, washing our hands, and just going on with the protocols that were established.
Well, this is a very interesting comment and presentation from the Honorable Leader of the 9th District. One of the things that's very beautiful about Virgin Gorda and the 9th District is that I would unequivocally say that it is one of the most important aspects to tourism when it comes to the Virgin Islands. But what's interesting, Kyla, about this is that the leader of the 9th District and Minister for Natural Resources and Labor is essentially putting the onus on persons within the community. But as a leader of government business and an elected member of the cabinet, I'd like also for him to take some responsibility as a cabinet member and to say that we're ready to receive visitors and persons coming into the territory. So let's just not be so quick to pass that on to residents, but really as a cabinet and a government, really take responsibility to ensure that we are doing everything in our power as safe as possible, as best as we can, with the very trying times, and I would admit that it's difficult times, but to ensure that residents and visitors alike can come back to the territory of the BVI.
I do understand, Ron. Now, Ron, let's just jump right into it. Now, of course, the territory of the Virgin Islands recorded one additional case of COVID-19. This was confirmed by Minister of Health, Honorable Carvin Malone, last night in a live press conference. This new development brings the territory's total number of COVID-19 cases to 64. The newest patient affected by the virus is unfortunately a young child who was in contact with a previous case. The health minister reported that 20 additional persons have recovered since his last address on the 7th of September 2020. This reduces the territory's active cases to 33. Amazing news, Ron. I think this is definitely, as I said before, a small win, and we definitely want to emphasize this to see our recoveries going up and our recovery rate being substantial. We definitely love it. And Minister Malone expressed his gratitude to the residents of the Virgin Islands for complying with the existing curfew measures and explained how it has helped in the fight against COVID-19 in the territory. He said, and I quote, "Your compliance with the existing curfew measures have helped tremendously to limit the spread of the virus, which puts us in a stronger position to strongly continue on our quest to reopen our society, economy, and our borders." Now, Ron, given these positive developments, Cabinet will be meeting today and have met today to receive a full briefing and consider policy decisions to further guide our territory forward. And as we know, the latest curfew order will expire next Wednesday, the 16th of September 2020. And I know that the residents of the BVI are very eager to see, with these positive developments, what decisions will be coming out of Cabinet.
Carla, this is by far very good news for us here in the British Virgin Islands. Of course, we continue to track the situation that is COVID-19, the global pandemic, not only locally but regionally and internationally as well, as close as the U.S. Virgin Islands, and we've seen where they have seen a decrease. But one of the things that I think is imperative as we look at the situation locally is the constant communication and adaptability of a connection between. For example, the curfew order was instated just a week ago,
Yes.
And now it would be interesting to see a bit of a highlight or a touch in based on the business community with the curfew. But we do look forward to see persons and the leaders of government business coming to the public and sharing, what worked, what didn't work, were persons compliant, were they in adherence to the measures. And I think moving forward, I think we should really take this as residents particularly and really take it to heart so that we could better our society and our territory and just be safe overall.
I agree.
Continuing on the local scene, officers of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force responded to a report received after 1:30 p.m. in broad daylight on September 10th, 2020, of a shooting in Spring Gut, Tortola, BVI. Now, on arrival, one male was found unresponsive with what appeared to be a gunshot wound and was pronounced dead on the scene. Now, later on, Kyla, it was announced by the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force that it was actually multiple gunshot wounds in broad daylight. Now, the deceased is confirmed to be Mr. Matthew Daly, a 55-year-old resident of Fat Hogs Bay, Tortola, BVI. Persons with any information related to this incident are kindly asked to contact Detective Inspector Vernon LaCroix directly on 368-8908. Again, that number is 368-9809, or via the Major Crime Investigation Team at 368-5682. All information will be treated with the strictest of confidentiality, and that will be ensured. Kyla, this is very daunting news. The minute the news hit social media and via our website, we had many persons just storming in and really voicing their concerns as it pertains to this very shocking and tragic death of a local businessman, someone who has served the community in various capacities. One of the things that we are looking at closely in the territory of the Virgin Islands is the close proximity between incidents such as this. We would, of course, remember the most recent, just a few weeks ago in Personal Estate, Mr. Shagala, a popular young man in the Personal Estate, and he was also gunned down in his home. Whereas these circumstances may be different and we're yet to get reports from the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, it's very daunting, and it's particularly, as many persons would say, we're on curfew. But I would like to reiterate to the general public that the fact that we're on curfew, that really does not stop bandits and criminal activity.
Ron, to reiterate what you're saying, to see that we are on curfew, and it seems like curfew is somewhat helping with the spread of the coronavirus. We see where crime is still rampant in our society, and something is going on. We're not sure exactly what, and we're hoping that the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force will get the information that they need and gather the information that they need, because it is very alarming to see within our curfew hours that this is actually happening. As you said some week ago, that was later in the night in someone's home, but here we see broad daylight where someone was, we're not sure of the situation, but in broad daylight in the afternoon hours, someone was killed in our territory. So it's definitely alarming.
Very daunting, yeah.
But at the end of the day, we want to send our condolences to his friends and family, and we do wish the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force investigation all the best.
And in addition to that, Carla, I'd like to highlight that the business community amongst the Virgin Islanders and residents are somewhat at ease. And when I say that, when you walk through the villages and you walk through the business community, persons they're scared. They're wondering, are they at risk? Is this something where they feel the need to be threatened because they're a member of the community? So we want to wish all members of our community, first and foremost, the utmost safety. In addition to that, we at Tweet4 Media really want to solidify our support to the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force in doing their job. They have a tough task at hand. I think just like the government of the Virgin Islands, through this pandemic, no one would want to be in this situation, but it takes a collective effort, and we really have to really pull together and wish our all agencies the very best.
Most definitely.
Now, still ahead, a look at education amidst COVID-19 in the BVI. We have all the details. We sit down with Ms. Sandy Underhill, former principal of the Elmore South High School, as well as persons from the H. Laverty Style Community College. They're going to outline exactly what the semester, what the school year is going to look like for the tertiary education amidst COVID-19. All this and more when 284 News returns.
Yes. You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. But Ron, before we get into the meat of the matter when it comes to education, another thing that has been a big concern in our territory recently have been border control. And in an effort to strengthen border surveillance and protection in the territory, the government of the Virgin Islands deployed 3 station badges in the waters of the Virgin Islands. At first, reports were made claiming that these badges were being hired for $17,000 per day. Now, today, in a live press conference, Honorable Shereen Flax-Charles clarified the actual cost of deploying these badges within the BVI waters. Let's take a look.
As a government, to further protect our southwest borders with 3 platform station barges, and this is not at a cost of $17,000 per station, as has been wrongfully reported, but alternatively at a cost of $4,666.67 per station. As a government, we took the decision to boost the local capabilities of our joint task force comprising of Her Majesty's Customs, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, and the BVI Immigration Department. Assistance from the British Naval Forces will always be welcomed, but to deploy such force between St. John and Littletach is asking a bit much at a cost that has to be carefully weighed. Together, our joint task force shall disrupt the illegal actions to the south and north of Jasper.
Now, Ron, initial reports were made that $17,000 were paid per badge per day. Now, Honorable Flax-Charles reported that these badges are basically costing the government $4,666.66 per badge. Now, with 3 badges at $4,666.67, this totals to $14,000 per day, $98,000 per week, and $392,000 per month for border control here in the British Virgin Islands. And Honorable Flax-Charles, in her statement, also alluded to the fact that if the British naval presence is deployed to protect the southwest perimeters here in the BVI, this could come at a cost that we may not be willing to bear. Now, Ron, the question is, what is this cost that the government is alluding to? And also, as a territory, can we afford $98,000 per week for this service? And how long can we sustain this service? Now, all great questions, Ron, because I'm really trying to understand where we are at as it pertains to our border protection.
Well, Kyla, not only you, but I think a lot of Virgin Islanders are trying to understand where we are as it pertains to border protection. But there are a couple issues and points to look at as it pertains to this story. First and foremost, the Honorable Minister out of Virgin Gorda, at-large representative rather, for the elected official who is responsible for trade, the Junior Minister for Trade and Economic Development, the Honorable Shereen Flax-Charles, is really speaking on a matter that, to be frankly, has when the records show, has nothing to do with her. This is a matter of border security. This is a matter of finance. But we see, and she has absolute leeway to speak on that as an effective elected official. But when we look at it, it's surprising that she would be speaking on the matter and really bringing clarity to that. When we look at it, the project of border security and having badges located across the waters is really one, again, that has to do with the Premier, the Minister of Finance, as well as the Governor's Office. And we see it very interesting. I find it rather very interesting that she would be speaking on this matter. But again, it is a matter that has been of extreme concern to the territory, and we want to, at the end of the day, make sure that we're getting value for money. We spoke in our newscast, previous newscasts, about receiving UK assistance. The Honourable Premier and Leader of Government Business has said on a few occasions that he's very reserved and very specific on accepting assistance from the UK because it may come at a cost on the later term. But we have to really look at the ramifications, and we have to really look at whether or not we're doing enough within this time period as it pertains to border security. I'm happy to hear the Honourable Minister, and we applaud her for her continued support. We really do appreciate her service, but it's different to hear her speak on this issue and not the Premier, the Minister of Finance, as well as perhaps the Governor of the Virgin Islands.
Most definitely.
Now, continuing on, viewers, on the local scene, this week marked the official opening of the 2020-21 school year. Now, this school term will obviously be different with the announcement of full online learning for the remainder of 2020 for the both public and private schools. Students of all ages, as well as teachers, principals, and officials at the Ministry of Education continue to prepare for a major adjustment. Now, this, of course, is as a direct result of the global pandemic that is COVID-19. Apart from our hospitality industry and overall economy, one of the hardest hit areas is education and the overall well-being of our very children, the ones we call our future. This pandemic affects everyone, including students, teachers, and of course, parents. As we look at the Education Act and the education ramifications amidst COVID-19, it is important for us to remember that this is by no means a walk in the park. This is a tough order, Kyla. This is a health crisis with many moving parts, and at the end of the day, it affects all facets of our human life. During this week, I sat down with Miss Sandy Underhill Harrigan, former educator and principal of the Elmore Stout High School, and the CEO of recently launched UBIDS, Underhill's Business Image Development Services consultancy, to get her take as a former educator and principal on educating students amidst a pandemic and what we should ultimately be paying keen attention to. Take a look. This is what she had to say.
We have to be able to address workforce, your employees. And I think that's one of the critical elements of putting a plan into place. We have to identify the workforce, we have to identify their needs, because they are the ones that are going to be providing the services of whatever plan. One of the main things that come to mind right now of concern to me, based on my own experience with managing the crisis of 2017, is to ensure that the educators themselves are provided with the support that they need. And I don't just mean physical resources. I'm talking about from the emotional, mental aspect of it. I am worried and concerned about their mental health. I do still have friends and past colleagues who would express to me that the school year hasn't begun yet, and they're very wary going into this school year. So I am concerned. Again, it comes down to people, identifying people, making sure that people, both internal stakeholders, which is your students, teachers, parents, external stakeholders, are involved in whatever plan that you may want to implement going forward in crisis management. Again, always comes down to people. They are your stakeholders. They are the ones that should have a say in making sure that we mitigate any pandemic, any crisis, short-term and long-term.
Now, additionally, Kala, the H. Lavity Stout Community College has made many provisions for students at the tertiary level to be able to continue their education amidst the pandemic. Now, I sat down with Mr. Sergio Estridge and Mrs. Stephanie Ross Penn, who explained in detail how exactly the new school year will look for students at the H. Lavity Stout Community College. Listen in.
We have integration of platforms to build up an ecosystem of, so we have a learning management system in the name of Moodle, which is a dynamic learning environment. And that platform allows the lecturers to place content and resources on there for their students, such as handouts and hyperlinks to other websites. And in addition, it has a lot of activities that you can do, like electronic quizzes, discussion forums, you know, a lot of different activities like that can be done on that platform. And it also has like a plugin in the name of Big Blue Button that we can do live video conferencing on that platform also. And in addition to Moodle, we have Cengage, which we use as a main platform for ebooks, so electronic books. And in addition to Cengage, we are integrating that with Microsoft Office. So you can have all the productivity software such as Microsoft Word, Excel, and so forth. But inside of Microsoft Office, we also have Microsoft Teams, which is a very popular video conferencing platform also. So we have a combination of those platforms to build up that environment to help our students.
Wonderful. And now, Ms. Penn, from a teacher's perspective, tell me about your take on this platform and how the transition has been going so far.
Well, thankfully, we've been using Moodle for quite a while, but with the transition, it has allowed us to be open to expanding the way in which we use it. And I think it's been very useful that we're able to integrate Moodle along with the Cengage platform, because a lot of the Cengage textbooks also come with additional platforms that can be used to support assessment and other various things. And so between Moodle, Cengage, and Office 365, it gives us numerous tools to be able to efficiently get our job accomplished.
Carla, here we see that we're hearing from not only a former principal of the Elmore Stout High School, but also on a tertiary level, representatives from the H. Lively Stout Community College. Education is by far one of the hardest hit areas, and it's very important to us. Students and persons from all ages are impacted, and we're happy to hear that at the end of the day, not only are we getting an intake from a former legislator, but at the end of the day, we're hearing from the H. Lively Stout Community College, who consistently and continue to do their work in making sure that continuing education is at the utmost importance.
Right now, Ron, education, as you said, taking one of the hardest hits.
Yeah.
And really and truly, it's one of the most important areas that we must sustain through this pandemic at all costs. And really and truly, it must be an all hands approach just coming out of this and having the conversation. So I'm definitely happy that you were able to sit down with Mrs. Harrigan to really talk about this. Now, as we move on, before we close out this newscast, in the same live press conference with Honorable Shereen Flax-Charles, she announced that the Virgin Islands government will be hosting a live virtual ceremony on Monday, the 14th of September 2020, to launch the COVID-19 stimulus payment for small businesses that have actually qualified. Now, as we know, on July 21st, 2020, the Economic Response Program was launched, and therefore the application process commenced for the duration of 1 month. And Ron, really and truly, now we're seeing where the government is having a ceremony, as I said, on Monday at 10 a.m. To basically award this stimulus payment to the small businesses that have qualified. And persons can tune into that via the government's Facebook page at Government of the Virgin Islands. But Ron, one thing that I want to point out is that the business community have really been crying out for assistance. So we're really hoping that this stimulus payment can offer some relief to our small business owners.
Kyla, we continue to wish the government of the Virgin Islands, as well as the Trade Department, the very best, and the Ministry of Trade and Economic Development, the very best in really assisting. And I do wish each and every small business person and representative the utmost best. Ultimately, we're seeing where there's going to be a ceremony, as you said, and we hope to see what's going to become of it. But we really do wish them the best. All persons, all recipients, the government, as as it pertains to really revitalizing and helping the economic structure, particularly as it pertains to small businesses. Kyla, we are out of time, but it's always been a pleasure. We want to wish everyone a happy Friday and a great weekend. I'm Ron Grant.
And I am Kyla Kenesha Forbes. Have a great evening, everyone.
Bye-bye.